Hey guys, it's Matt Starr. I hope you're doing great. This week I want to talk to you about three things that you can do to increase your earning. Money is such a hot topic. Whenever I talk about it or post a video about it, it always gets a ton of comments, ton of shares, and a ton of questions. So I want to help you guys kind of get things moving and get your brains turning and get that prosperity happening. Okay, so the first thing that you can do to increase your earning is to let go of what the concept is that you have of yourself. So rather than saying, I'm a drummer, I'm an accountant, I'm a teacher, I'm a banker, just say, I'm successful. And let's let the universe decide how that's going to happen. Because sometimes we can get really specific about stuff, and that can limit our ability to see opportunities that are in front of us and ultimately grow and receive and have a bigger life. And I'll give you an example of that. For many years, I started out as a drummer when I was 13 years old. And over the years, I learned how to sing and play guitar and write music. And so for the last 6 years, I've just been focused on playing drums, and my life has just opened up and exploded in so many amazing ways. But prior to that, I was on a thing where I said, I can't be both a drummer and a singer. I got to pick one. Now, that was just something in my head. There was nobody had told me that. So I decided I'm just going to focus on singing. Okay, cool. So I'm singing. And for a long time, I would meet people and they'd say, Are you still playing drums? Oh man, you're such a great drummer. I love your vocals, but man, when you play drums, oh, it's just amazing. And I just say, Oh, cool, thank you. Yeah, I'm just focusing on singing right now. And I had done a lot of great stuff with my vocals and with my singing and my bands and all that. It had been successful, but I had so many people telling me, We love you when you play the drums. You got to play the drums. You got to play the drums. And I just wasn't listening to it. And when I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to play drums and just let it happen. I'm just going to do whatever I want, whatever comes my way. And again, the thinking was I have to focus on one or the other. I can't be both. Again, not sure why that came into my head, but that was my idea. The first opportunity I end up getting is to play for Ace Frehley from Kiss, who I used to sit on my bedroom floor when I was 7 years old, draw pictures of his face and listen to their records. But here's the thing. We need a drummer, but the drummer has to sing. And the drummer has to sing all the Paul Stanley songs. So you have to be able to sing Love Gun and I Want You and all these other Kiss songs that Paul Stanley sang. Well, that just blew my head open because here I was saying that I had to pick one or the other. I couldn't be both. And then here I'm getting this opportunity to play with someone who, again, I just had pictures of the guy on my wall and would draw his picture and all this stuff. And not only that, I'm being asked to sing and not just sing backup vocals, sing lead vocals of one of my favorite vocalists, Paul Stanley. So that just, along with being a childhood, like, wow, this is a mind blower, it also showed me that my ideas, my preconceived ideas about myself and what I was capable of doing, and not even what I was capable, because I knew I was capable of singing and playing drums at the same time, but what was possible. I couldn't see it in front of me. I thought, well, there's Don Henley and Phil Collins, and they're both really talented and awesome, but I don't really see myself like that. So I couldn't envision what that would look like. Well, once I stopped trying to envision how that was going to happen and just focused on what I wanted to do and why, the world opened up. So I hope that illustrates what I'm talking about. And that also ties in with what we always say, which is the first thing you need to do is get in touch with what that big vision is for yourself. That really big one, not the one that seems like realistic, the one that seems completely realistic and you feel like you're insane for even telling anybody what you're thinking. That's the one. You take that one, and then the next thing you do as you sculpt out what you want that to really look like, the next thing you do is not how, but why, right? So that's what I was doing. I was saying how. Well, I could sing and play drums, but how's that going to work? I don't see anybody out there unless, again, it was Phil Collins' band or it was Don Henley's band. I don't see an opportunity for me where I'm out there singing and playing drums. I couldn't see it. Well, I was trying to figure out the how. That's not my job. My job is the why. And so when I was willing to just go, why? Well, I have this talent and I'm here to play. I'm here to work, and whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to be open to it. So often, many times, what happens is someone has an idea and they try and do the how. The how is not important. I had a friend of mine who was talking to me, and I think I've shared this once before. He said he had this, he called this a crazy idea from 10 years ago, that he came up with an idea to create the automobile. And it was a driverless car. It was a car that drove itself. And he goes, it was like this crazy idea. And I realized it's just going to take so much money to do that. And I don't have that money. So I realized that it's a lot more than just scribbling an idea down on a piece of paper. And I was like, first of all, the automobile is the best name I've ever heard for a self-driving car. And after we parted ways, I had to call him back and I had to say, dude, I got to tell you, I don't want to bum you out or anything, but first of all, that's like the best name I've ever heard for that kind of product. Also, anything ever in the history of the universe that's ever been invented, whether it's the cell phone or the phonograph or the light bulb, was scribbled down on a piece of paper. That's exactly how it starts. Somebody just daydreaming or going, man, I wish I had a thing that did this, So, but he tried to figure out the how. And he came to the conclusion it was going to cost millions and millions of dollars, which, yeah, I'm sure it would. But that's not the way to do it, because, again, if we had all the answers right now, we'd already be doing it, right? So when Kennedy told NASA, hey, we're going to go to the moon in a few years, they didn't know how. But they knew why, mainly because the president told them it was time to go to the moon. And they just, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? So, just to keep everything back on track, get in touch with that big dream. Figure out the why. Why do I want this? Why is this important to me? Don't worry about the how. And to go back to the beginning of this, just let go of what your vision is. I want to say this right, because, we talk about having a clear vision for yourself, right? And we talk about getting specific. It's like, I want to have a house in Colorado. I want to have a house in California, or I want to live on the French Riviera, or I want to live here 6 months a year, or I want to do this kind of work with these kinds of people. So all the details are great, but how that's going to unfold, let go of that. So I guess, yeah, that's it. So the what is great, but let go of the how, and just be willing to, again, try this. When you think of yourself, I'm a construction worker, I'm a business owner, or I'm a this, I'm a that. Just, I'm successful, and be open to what that's going to look like. How can I be successful? Not how can I get more gigs or how can I get a better job? How can I be successful? And ask. If you have any sort of spiritual belief, that's great. Lock into that and say, hey, universe, God, Buddha, whoever, hey, I need some information. I don't know how to do this, but you know how to do this, because I see people all around the world doing this. So can you show me how to do this? How do I be successful in this area? I hope that's helpful. If you'd like to do one-on-one counseling, or if you would like to hire me to come in and talk to your company or your employees, just go to mattstarcoaching.com and we can set that up. And please share the video if you think this will help somebody, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks.